Well, hi, this is Steve Patty bringing you the second in a series on personal leadership, how to pursue the kinds of things you want to pursue in your life and become the kind of person you want to become in your life. And in our first session, we explored what it meant to have a vision for your own growth and development, or what we call the growing edge. It's important to have a vision because a vision inspires us. A vision moves us when we're discouraged. A vision helps focus our energy on the things that really matter. And I encourage you to think, when you think about a growing edge, to not simply think about what you want to learn about or know in your life. And not just what you want to do or experience in your life. And not just what you want to feel by the kinds of things that you go through in your life. We call those first order visions for your own growth and development. But instead to think about something more compelling, more durable, and more gripping. The second order vision for your own growth and development. Not just what you want to know, but how you want to believe and what kinds of outlooks and perspectives you want to have on the world around you and yourself. And who you want to become, not just what you want to do, but what pathway you want to be on and what capacities you want to develop. And not just what you want to feel, but how you want to love. The people that are around you, the kinds of things that are important to you, the values that you hold dear, and the virtue that you hold as precious in your life. And so somewhere in there, in the believe, become, or the love space, you've identified a growing edge that you want to focus on and work on. So today in this session, we're going to explore what it means to think about the growing part of that growing edge. For just identifying a growing edge is not enough, of course. We need to move forward in that. We need to grow in that. We need to develop in that. We need to evolve in those areas. To evolve. It might be interesting to think about the analogy of evolutionary biology for a moment. For a species has to evolve over the millennia in order to be able to thrive. So also you and I have to evolve in order to become the best versions of ourselves and thrive like we want to thrive in our lives. And evolution, we know, has at least three different aspects. The first aspect is that evolution fundamentally preserves what's brilliant about a species. So also, our own growth and development is to preserve what's brilliant about you. We don't grow, we're not encouraging you to grow to become not you. We want you to become the best version of you. That's the first aspect. The second aspect of evolution is that a species has to discard or re-regulate DNA that no longer serves its purpose. It has to let go of some things. This requires some loss. We'll talk about that in another session that we have together. And the third aspect is that a species has to develop new DNA arrangements in order to be able to thrive as best it can. It needs to be able to be capable of new kinds of things. It needs to be able to show up in this world in new kinds of ways. This is the growing edge part and the growing part of the growing edge. So how do you think about the evolutionary part of your growing edge? Well, typically when people think about how to move forward, they think about external kinds of things, not internal kinds of things. And that's less helpful than when you think about the internal parts. So for instance, a person could be thinking, I'd really like more opportunity in my life. That's how I want to grow. But if they externalize that, they think the reason why I'm not growing is because people aren't giving me opportunities. Not the internal version, which is how do I become the kind of person who's able to take opportunities or create opportunities for myself. Or a person could be thinking, I want for my growing edge to be more connected with people and have a deeper sense of community and belonging in my life. Now they might think about the external part of that. The reason why I don't have community and belonging is because people aren't reaching out to me and people aren't talking to me. People aren't curious about who I am. Instead of the internal version where we relocate this within ourselves and think, how do I become the kind of person who is able to reach out to others and who is able to be present with others and who cares about others deeply, even if they're annoying and irritating to me. See, that's the internal version. Or perhaps you might be thinking, I really want to grow in my ability to be able to navigate stressful situations. Well, there are external parts to that, obviously. The reason why I'm not able to navigate is because people are giving me too much to do, and I just feel really stressed by that. Instead of how might I develop internal buoyancy and resilience and stability and calm in the midst of all the pressures that are going on around me. This is the internal version because it has to do with how I need to grow despite what happens elsewhere. So here is your task, to take your growing edge and to think about the external and internal parts of your growing edge and how you might need to evolve in those areas. And it might be that you just take a blank piece of paper, you draw a circle, and with your growing edge in mind, outside the circle you write down all the things that are affecting you from the outside, external. But inside the circle you identify the kinds of things that are your responsibility, that are about your evolution, your adaptation, your development, your growth. Here's an example. I know of a guy who is working on being more strategic for his growing edge because he was just filling his days with all kinds of things and running on everyone else's agenda all the time. And so he was reactive, not purposeful. And as you might imagine, there are all kinds of external reasons why that was the case. But as he began to think about the internal parts, he began to identify, I need to grow in my ability to say no to even some exciting opportunities. I need to grow in my own sense of purpose, what I'm aiming for, and what are the things of greatest worth for me. I need to grow in my sense of internal strength, to not just adopt everyone else's agenda, but to be internally driven in my life and have a rudder for myself. See, those were the internal parts of his growing edge. And those are the areas that we need to evolve and develop in order for him to have a chance of reaching his full potential. So this is your task. Identify in particular the internal parts of your growing edge. And we'll work with those as we move from sessions 3 through 7. Until next time, lead yourself well and lead others well.